Hey guys, what's up? Um, Today, in celebration of Halloween and in celebration for the new Pokemon X and Y, I'm gonna be reading a creepypasta. Now, this is gonna be coming out late, mainly because I'm recording this late. Late for Halloween and very late for Pokemon X and Y, but I wanted to do this and I figured better late than never. You know how the old saying goes. So, anyways, I will be reading today for you Pokemon Black, and you've probably heard of this one. It's the most popular one. I wanted to read Nurse Joy, but I figured since it's my first time doing a Pokepasta, I should do the most well-known one. Oh, and one other thing before I get started. I'm not using my headset. My headset broke, and thankfully I figured out that my computer actually has a mic built into it, and this was very good information because now this means I can still do all these readings. But yeah, without further ado, I hope you all enjoy. I'm what you would call a collector of bootleg Pokemon games. Pokemon Diamond and Jade, Chaos Black, etc. It's amazing the frequency with what you can find them at pawn shops, Goodwill, flea markets, and such. They're generally fun, even if they are unplayable, which they often are. The mistranslations and poor quality make them unintentionally humorous. I've been able to find most of the ones I played online, but there's one I haven't seen any mention of. I bought it at a flea market about 5 years ago. Here's a picture of the cartridge in case anyone recognizes it. Unfortunately, when I moved 2 years ago, I lost the game, so I can't provide you with any screen caps. Sorry. The game started with the familiar Nidorino and Gengar intro to the red and blue version. However, the press start screen had been altered. Red was there, but the Pokemon did not cycle through. It also said black version under the Pokemon logo. Upon selecting new game, the game started out with Professor Oak's speech. It quickly became evident that the game was essentially Pokemon Red version. After selecting your starter, if you looked at your Pokemon, you had an addition to Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle, another Pokemon. Ghost. The Pokemon was level 1. It had the sprite of a ghost that encountered in Lavender Town before obtaining this Sylph Scope. It had one attack, Curse. I know that there is a real move named Curse, but the attack did not exist in Generation 1, so it appears it was hacked in. Defending Pokemon were unable to attack Ghost. It would only say that they were too scared to move. When the move Curse was used in battle, its screen would cut to black. The cry of the defending Pokemon would be heard, but it was distorted, played at much lower pitch than normal. The battle screen would then reappear, and the defending Pokemon would be gone. If used in a battle against a trainer, when the Pokeballs representing the Pokemon would appear in the corner, they would have one fewer Pokeball. The implication was that the Pokemon died. What's even stranger is that after defeating the trainer and seeing Red receive $200 for winning, the battle commands would appear again. If you selected Run, the battle would end as it normally does. You could also select Curse. If you did, upon returning to the overworld, the trainer's sprite would be gone. After leading and returning to the area, the spot where the trainer would have been, it would be replaced with a tombstone like the ones at Lavender Town. The move Curse was not usable in all instances. It would fail against Ghost Pokemon. It would also fail if used against trainers that you would have to face again, such as your rival or Giovanni. It was usable in your final battle against them, however. I figured this was the gimmick of the game, allowing you to use previously uncapturable ghosts. Because the curse made the game so easy, I essentially used it throughout the whole adventure. The game changed quite a bit after defeating the Elite Four. After viewing the Hall of Fame, which consisted of ghosts and a couple of Pokemon used at HMs 4, the screen cut to black. A box appeared with the words "Many years later," then cut to Lavender Town. An old man was standing, looking at tombstones, then realized that this man was your character. The man moved at only half your normal walking speed. You no longer had any Pokemon with you, not even Ghost, who up to this point had been impossible to remove from your party through depositing in this PC. The overworld was entirely empty. There were no people at all. There were still the tombstones of the trainers that you used Curse on, however. You could go pretty much anywhere in the overworld at this point, though your movement was limited by the fact that you had no Pokemon to use HMs. Regardless of where you went, the music of Lavender Town continued on an infinite loop. After wandering for a while, I found that you can go through Diglett's cave. One of the cuttable bushes that normally blocks the path on the other side is no longer there, allowing you to advance and return to Pallet Town. Upon entering your house and going to the exact tile where you start the game, the screen would cut to black. Then there was a sprite of Cat reappeared. It was replaced by a Weedle, then a Pidgeotty. Soon I realized, as the Pokemon progressed from Rattata to Blastoise, that these were all the Pokemon used Curse on. At the end of my rival's team, a youngster appeared, the bug catcher. These were the trainers I'd cursed. Throughout the sequence of Lavender Town music was playing, but slowly decreasing in pitch. By the time your rival appeared on screen, it was little more than a demonic rumble. Another cut to black. A few moments later, the battle screen suddenly appeared. Your trainer sprite was now that of an old man, the same one that teaches you how to catch Pokemon in Veridan City. Ghost appeared on the other side, along with the words, "Ghost wants to fight." You couldn't use items and you had no Pokeballs. If you tried to run, you couldn't escape. The only option was fight. Using fight would immediately cause you to use struggle, which didn't affect Ghost, but did chip off a bit of your own HP. When it was Ghost's turn to attack, you would simply say, ... Eventually, when your HP reached a critical point, Ghost would finally use Curse. The screen cut to black a final time. Regardless of the buttons you pressed, you were permanently stuck in this black screen. At this point, the only thing you could do was turn the Game Boy off. When you played again, New Game was the only option. The game had erased the file. I played through this hacked game many, many times, and every time the game ended with this sequence. Several times I didn't use Ghost at all, though he was impossible to remove from the party. In these cases, it did not show any Pokemon or trainer and simply cut to the climactic battle with Ghosts. I'm not sure what the motives were behind the creator of this hack. It wasn't widely distributed, so it was presumably not for monetary gain. It was very well done for a bootleg. Seems he was trying to convey a message, though it seems I am the sole receiver of this message. Not entirely sure what it was. The inevitability of death? The pointlessness of it? Perhaps he was simply trying to morbidly inject death and darkness into a children's game. Regardless, this children's game had made me think. It had made me cry. Well, I hope that you had a fun time listening to my sexy voice. Reading this interesting story. It wasn't very creepy, but it was still original and well made. I just dropped my headphones. I hope that's not what picks it up. The sound. But anyways, if you listened, thank you for listening. For those who subscribed, thank you. For those who haven't subscribed, make sure to, I don't know, there's nothing that I can, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Give me any, suggestions for stories you would like me to read, because I'm starting to run low, And thank you for listening and watching, and bye-bye.